ever thought of being an entrepreneur, I think you should, because Malaysia needs more people like you. So what I've learned along the way, if you've ever thought of being an entrepreneur, is that money is not big enough as a motivator. Find a deeper reason. In my case, it's a social reason, an education reason. For you, it may be something else.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Malar from Hearts&Minds. Thank you for joining us in Being Whole, Being Me, Series 66. So I don't know about you, 6 might hopefully is also your lucky number, because it is my lucky number because I finally got hold of Edmond Yap. So if you have seen that introduction, you know he is not this normal average business coach that you meet. From the time I met him, really cannot remember how long. He's been mad. All right, always mad, always throwing ideas that I would say is not practical in a business sense, but he never fails to inspire me, touch my heart, and make me go to sleep. In fact, take away my sleep, because he gets me to think about what it means to change the world. So can be quite troublesome talking to this guy. So if you've joined us, if you're joining us, know that you're going to be trouble, hopefully in a nice way to make the world a better place. So let's bring Edmond to talk about start a business and change the world. Edmond,
Oh my gosh, Malar, did you? So I was watching your video. I'm like, I knew we had common friends, but I never knew we had so many common friends. It's like this long list of people that I'm like, hey, I know this guy, I know this guy, I know this guy, I know this guy.
yeah,
And as we go through life and we look back at our past, we this all these things we've said or done and everything, and we look back and we're a little bit embarrassed sometimes.
are you?
Oh
Are
yeah,
you?
yeah, totally, absolutely. I look at all those things. I'm like, oh, holy crap! Did I?
Seriously, which part of it you were embarrassed?
So cringe. No, I mean, but it's like that, right? I wrote a book like 10 years ago called "Flush Your Stress Down the Toilet," and so 2 years ago, I revisited that book because I was writing another book called "Start a Business, Change the World." And so when I saw back my first attempt, right? Oh my gosh, I'm like, I want to hide somewhere, lah. I'm like, how who? So so I guess that's what life is, right? And as we grow and we mature, we're different. We look back at ourselves and we're like, so I guess being feeling cringe and feeling embarrassed is a really good thing, because it shows that we're a different person than we were 10 years ago.
You do think this part of you will ever change?
Being cringe? No, I fully expect I have a newborn daughter. I fully expect her to grow up feeling absolutely cringe about her father. Like, rolling her eye all the time. She'll be like, I think she's gonna call me Dada. I'm not sure yet. And she's gonna like, hide her face and don't want to be seen around me.
I'm gonna have a public bet with you that that's not gonna happen.
Then I don't think I'm doing my job, lah.
We'll see. Not in the way, not in the way that you're expecting. I'm quite sure that's not gonna happen.
So
Hence,
so
so
funny.
we'll need to bring you back to check. Okay, did it happen or not? Is she cringing?
One day she might go to your optician meeting classes, and I'll be like, you know why that happened, Maeve? And Maeve, my daughter's name, because you roll your eyes so much at me. That's what happened. That's why we're here in the optician getting you glasses.
And then she'll roll her eyes again.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see. Nice one.
Poor girl.
You think so? Okay, Edmund. I
Yes.
know when you met yesterday, you were
Yes.
busy talking about your daughter.
Yes.
Today, we will not let her hijack you because we
Yeah.
are here to talk about start a business and change the world. And I'm sure you'll
Fantastic.
figure out ways to bring your daughter in, right? So, I'm very sure. Mind me, forgive me for my slight cough. So tell
Bless
us,
you.
yeah, thank you. So tell us about you. What is that one thing that you think we don't know about you? I don't know about you.
Well, I think the audience here probably that knows nothing about me.
Exactly.
so,
Exactly.
so so there's a lot to cover. But I guess talking about the theme today, start a business, change the world. Really, I mean, I spend a lot of time encouraging people to look, if you see an injustice in the world, actually do something about it. Right. The things we complain about, whether it is the environment, whether it is education, whether it is politics, whatever it is that you see is a problem in the world, to actually go on and solve it. And I encourage people and I say that, look, there's no problem too big. You can actually start making a dent in those issues. So in that context, right? So if I talk about myself, which is a strange thing to do, um, uh, I was so I started out my career as a civil engineer. So I was an engineer for about 5 years, but I I really didn't like it. Um, we need more engineers, right? So let's get it out of the way. But the reason why I didn't like it was because I just saw a lot of corruption, and these were public infrastructure projects. I saw. Oh my gosh, the authorities would put gambling machines in construction sites, right? For the foreign workers to play, because foreign workers don't go out very much, and the reason why is because they're very afraid to be caught, and even though they're legal, they'll still be held and extorted out of their money. So there are gambling machines in construction sites that the authorities put there. There's corruption on, basically, oh my gosh, it's everywhere, right? Everyone's getting paid for contracts, under the table money. So I was very, very disillusioned. I'm like, what the, you know and then that be those, my boss would ask me to take the clients to karaoke joints where there are GROs there, or guest relation officers. Well, basically they're just, well, they're one step below that of a prostitute lah. And they're there to entertain people and to be groped, and so it's just this whole scene of. And I've never been exposed to such things, right? I never grew up with such things. I didn't know such things existed. And suddenly, when I started my career as an engineer, and suddenly I saw all these things all of a sudden, right? Uh, I remember the police coming to a construction site with parang to scare the foreign workers. So I saw all of this crap, and I was like, "Did this? What's? I mean, there's got to be, Malaysia could be a better place." And I think I don't know why I got the opportunity to see such a thing happening, because honestly, a lot of people, most people are shielded from it. Most people in most careers do not get to witness such horrible things, but I did. That and within a few years of starting my career, I was like, this can't be it. So I had a midlife crisis early on, and I'm like, this can't be it, right? I got to do something about it. And I slowly started getting, not depressed, I don't think that's the word. It's this deep feeling of dissatisfaction of, what am I doing, what for, why am I working so hard, what's the point? And so I went out searching for answers. And what happened was, one day I was staring at my bookshelf, and I saw this book written by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I thought, hey, it'd be pretty cool if I went to work for someone like that. Then maybe I could make a positive impact, positive difference to people in people's lives. So I did. I applied to them, and according to them, I was the first person in their franchise history here in Malaysia to actually get offered a job straight away, because I told them exactly why I'm here and why I wanted to be here and things like that. So I was with Dale Carnegie for a year as their salesperson. And then a few months in, I realized, hey, wait, I'm not making the kind of impact I want to make, lah. Maybe I should start my own training company, which was, by the way, a crazy, insane idea, right? Because I've never trained a single day in my life. I've never designed a single training program in my life. And here I was, right? This young, honestly, very bodoh lah. Too really, absolutely too stupid to know I couldn't do it. So, so what happened was I drew up a business plan. I mean, I just sat down on my computer and drew up a business plan. I did this whole Excel spreadsheet on projections, financial, whatever. And one day, while going up to my office in Menara UOA in Jalan Pinang, so I was going up to the 12th floor. And what happened was I met this guy who, we started chatting on the lift, right, on the elevator. And he asked me, what do I do? I said, I'm trying to start my own training business. And so literally, in a very literal way, I did an elevator pitch in an elevator. And the guy was like, hey, this is really interesting. Why don't you meet my investor? And so right there and then, right, that a week later, I met his investor, and the investor actually then invested 100,000 ringgit for us to get started in our training business. Yeah, I mean, and I didn't know what I was doing. So for 3 years after that, I absolutely suffered. Right, I didn't know what I was doing. No, I didn't know. I mean, my program designs were very, very poor, very bad. Right, I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to run a business. My product wasn't good. Right, so for 3 years, I somehow managed to just break even. Okay, there's some okay lah. So we kind of drew down the 100,000 over the next 3 years, but we managed to somehow stay within that bracket and stay alive for so long. And but and I tell you, if I didn't have that opportunity, right, to get started, to make all these mistakes, I think I don't know whether I'd be an entrepreneur today. I think that faith that my investor showed me was, I'm very grateful for it until now. Interestingly, Marlet, I think that's how we met. Because about 4 or 5 months into my journey as an entrepreneur, I met Francis G. And Francis G just dropped out of the sky and decided to mentor me for no reason. Right. And he didn't ask for anything back. And so I started hanging around in his circles, and that included you, and that was somewhere around 2009, 2010.
Seriously, that was so long ago.
Yeah, I think we met around then, first time. And then what happened was, a few years into the training business, I stumbled upon another idea, which was free tuition for every Malaysian child online. So I was watching Salman Khan, not the Bollywood actor, but another Salman Khan. He was talking about the Khan Academy, right? And how he put thousands of videos online free for anyone to watch. And I'm like, and I see that, I'm like, this is exactly what we needed here in Malaysia. And
Right.
so for the next year and a half, chased after that idea, went to everyone I could possibly meet for funding. Everybody said no. I remember this head of branding and marketing from this famous local college burst in through the door, like, those cowboy shows where people just burst into those cowboy doors, right? So it felt like that. She burst into the room one day, half an hour late. I was there for a meeting with her because I wanted to pitch the idea for EduNation, free tuition for all Malaysian our children. And she was like, "What do you want?" And so, rejected so many times over the next year and a half. But finally, we found our break. a college decided to invest in this idea. And the reason why they want to invest is very simple. We did this pitch to them. We said, why spend 500,000 on a billboard on the highway? And they spend a lot on that, right? Why spend 500,000 advertising your college on a billboard on the highway when you can spend that money on us and we make a real difference to your future customers? And so the pitch was this, right? You have this kid, Form 5, it's time to choose a college. Which college would you choose? College A, a college that has never done anything for him in his entire life, or College B, a college that has been helping him for 11 years, right? It's from primary, secondary school, helping him get A's, helping him get uh, notoriety, helping his parents be happy with him. So when all things equal, which college would he choose, right? And obviously, he'll choose a college that has been helping him for 11 years prior. So that was the pitch they bought, and they funded us over a period of 6 to 7 years. They funded us more than 10 million ringgit, and yeah, and what happened was we used that money and we made 6,000 videos on all the core subjects in the Malaysian syllabus: science, maths, physics, biology, chemistry. We even had and for primary school we even had these subjects in Tamil and Mandarin. So we did all of that in a period of 6 years. 6 7 years. And then I left. I left because, well, basically, two things. One is, well, I've basically done my job there. And two, we had this disagreement with the shareholders, and so I decided, nah, I think I'll need another vehicle moving forward to actually, whatever agenda I had for the future. So I left, and then I tried to start a school. Oh my gosh, that was such a fiasco. And so it was going to be a very special school where there's no subjects, where kids every day when they come to school, right, they solve real world problems. So, I give a very simple example is this. Okay, here's your project. Go clean that river near the school. And so they'd learn biology because to clean the river, obviously, you need to understand biology. You need to learn math because you need to calculate volumes. You need to learn um, on filter sizes. You need to learn history because you need to understand what people did in the past. When it comes to sanitation, you learn geography because you need to know where the rivers come from, lead to, so on and so forth. So they'll learn all these subjects, right, while solving real world problems. And so after many years of actually solving real world problems, right, what happens is when kids go out of school into the world, when they see a problem, they know exactly what to do, how to start, where to get help, who to ask, how to get supporters, how to write business proposals. I mean, they'll be able to do all of that. But anyway, that school didn't happen. It turns out that the minor investor and the major investor, which had, by the way, agreed to invest in us already in tune of about 6 million, but they had this fallout, and after 8 months, we couldn't carry on. And the team disbanded, and I had to reinvent myself all over again after that. And so what I did was, I took what I've been doing really for the past many years, since the start of EduNation. I've been mentoring social entrepreneurs to start their own social enterprises. And I've turned that into basically my primary business right now, which is Pew Pew. So I have this organization now called Pew Pew. Shoot for the stars, right? And what happens is we actually a marketing agency, a business growth agency, and we help purpose-driven businesses that want to make the world a better place. We help them to grow. And one of the key things we do to help these businesses is, so one of the biggest problems or issues that really good people have, good-hearted people who want to make the world a better place, is that they're really not good at making money, lah. It's
Yeah,
somehow it's somehow
tell me
related.
about it.
It's somehow related, yeah, they become monks somehow. And so as an agency, we have to get very good at one thing, and that's how to help them to generate very quick cash flow right in the beginning of their journey, or today, how to generate quick cash flow. And we do that through mentoring, or through things like Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and helping them to do that. So that's Pew Pew. And what's more recent than Pew Pew is our other startup called Small Potato. So Small Potato is an effort to help small businesses, like very small micro entrepreneurs, home-based businesses. So these are people who, and especially during the pandemic, a lot of people, they lost their income, a lot of problems, and they want to start their own, small businesses. And so we help them by providing them a platform. So if you go to smallpotato.com, SMOL potato, a lot of people there are actually small vendors, home-based businesses. Go and support them, buy something from them. The money doesn't go to a giant corporation somewhere. It goes direct to the person, to
Right.
communities that actually need to earn the money. And some of these things they sell are really amazing. Lah. Uh, um, and so that's Small Potato. And what we do is we provide them a platform. And not just that, we provide them the coaching as well to actually get a business going. And the reason why we do that is because I remember my first business, I was totally hopeless. I
Right.
look absolutely bodo. And I relate to the challenge of people starting their own thing and the challenges and really there is a lot of challenge. We did a pilot last year for Small Potato. We started a pilot for Small Potato last year. And out of that pilot, right, about 80% of the businesses are gone. They didn't make it.
Mm,
It's in for whatever reason, right?
mm,
But one of the primary reasons is because being an entrepreneur is a different skill set, right? They need to understand marketing, selling, they need to understand product quality, customer service, all of that. And if they don't, then honestly, they're not going to last very long. And so when we launched Small Potato 2.0, we just a couple of months ago, 80% of the people we had during our pilot, poof, gone. So yeah, so
a
that's the
brief of a serial entrepreneur who's been chasing purpose. So that's pretty amazing that I actually met you when you started your training business. Yeah, I remember that. And of course, we remember G and the darling he is. I remember meeting you in his house.
oh what oh was it
It was in his house because
oh
I had
cool.
been able to visit him, and then he invited me in, and he introduced you to me.
I think I
Right?
was a very annoying person back then.
Who
I
you
I,
were
I remember.
annoying?
Yeah. Terry tells me that. Terry Neto.
You mean to say you're not annoying now?
Oh, I'm still.
No, I'm just asking. Have you got that
I,
feedback that you're not annoying anymore?
I think I'm annoying to certain people. It's,
You've just reduced
I'm
your
annoying to bureaucrats.
ah. Oh, we'll see, we'll see. So, I wasn't annoyed with you when I first met you. I've
Well,
always
thank
been
you. That's
inspired by your
nice.
stories.
Oh, that's
Unfortunately,
nice.
this time, like I've been bugging you. Now, we looked at, so for those who've joined, I'm just going to say hello to friends who've joined us. So, hi, Alice, Sundar, and Luis Marias. Oh, he says, I look too serious today. Okay, I'm not too sure not to look. Am I serious? Okay, I'll try not to be serious. Hi, Gerald. Gerald is in now. So these are people who follow us, and there are some people on LinkedIn who
Hello.
have not said hello to us. But let's move on. So you started off your training business, not knowing anything about business, and you say you learned some stuff, which is fantastic because people like me, 20 years in the business, still learning, right? And then you moved on to EduNation,
Yeah, that's right.
and from EduNation, and EduNation is one of those things that for me personally, it is life changing when I spoke to you,
Mm,
because I think that's what every Malaysian needs, a chance to
yeah,
education, and I think you
yeah,
did it through EduNation, which is
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
then you get through that, and now you are at a space. So and then the school,
yeah.
right? And from the school, now it is Pew Pew and Small Potatoes, right?
That's
Now, but
right.
what
Yeah.
and why didn't you call it small fries?
Ah, all these names came from my
Mm.
wife. So my wife and I, we're partners in these two different businesses, and she does all this. Let me just. Shall I show them my business card?
Yeah, you
And
should.
what
You
and
should. You should.
and what
Yeah.
she so sneakily did. So she designed this logo for us, right? I'm just gonna flip this so can you guys read this? Right, you
I
guys can
help.
read this?
Yes, I
Oh,
can
okay,
read.
okay,
I
great. Okay.
help.
I just want to make sure the image isn't flipped. Okay, so this is our logo, right? So she designed this for us. Pew pew. What she didn't tell us was that she designed this logo in such a way, right, that also said this.
I meant man.
My wife is there, and so one day I was passing my business card, right, to to someone, and the guy's looking at me really strange because I accidentally passed him my business card upside down. He's like, "You met Matt?" I'm like, "I met Matt? No. What? Why? What do you say that? I met Matt." I'm like, "You are Matt? No, 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 no." And then we realized the name card said that. And so my wife is just as crazy as I am. She's the most the silent type of crazy. I'm the loud, boisterous type of crazy. The two of us make a very crazy couple.
Nice. And you've now the crazy couple have made a baby too, and who rolls
I pity Maeve.
We'll see. We'll see. Whether you pity her or we end up pitying you, because with two crazy people as parents, we
I
need
know,
to.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. So
yeah, and
sorry, yeah. I'm going to. I'm not going to let you talk about your daughter, because when you
yeah.
talk,
Let's
you come back
yeah,
so long.
yeah,
We're
nonstop.
not doing your daughter. Let's talk about you.
Mm.
Because I have people gathered here. I think a lot of them are entrepreneurs here. Luis
Oh,
Mariah
nice.
is, Gerald is, Lillian is, Sundar. I'm not too sure. He's been our great supporter from India. Sundar, do tell us what you do if you can. Now, so it seems like, so when we were talking about doing this topic with you, start a business, change the world. A lot of us today start a business because we think we can make money. We want to be successful, right? And you were, I think, absolutely right, because for those who start a business to change the world, chances are we'll stay poor for a long time.
uh yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, look at you, look at me. Moving on. But let me ask you this, right? No, I actually, it would be so unfair for me to say I'm poor. I'm not poor, but I'm not rich. Now, why? And you also said that when you do business coaching, you are only coaching businesses with a purpose. So tell us a little bit about why must we have a purpose? Why can't there are, just for simplifying the concepts, there are two types of business, right? Some of us start
Mm,
businesses because we start with a purpose. I want to make a difference, and I want to make a
mm,
difference in this particular space, and I start a business because this service is not provided.
mm.
That's one group of people. But the
Yeah.
businesses that seem to be thriving today is that now this is the trend, this is the need in the society, in the community, and we can make really quick money, good money, right? I don't
Mm.
have to feel passionate about a purpose.
Okay, so I think okay, I think let me tell you who I typically speak to, right?
Mm,
And who my audience is, and then I think you'll understand the message and why I see the things I do. I like when I wrote the book "Start a Business, Change the World." It really is an encouragement for people who really see something wrong and want to do something about it. And so, starting a business is one of the easiest ways, actually the easier way to actually go about making change. And so for a lot of, and I remember many years ago, right, right out of university, it was a couple of years into my career as an engineer. And I remember me and my friends, we were sitting around at this, I think it was a pub. I don't think it was a mama. I think it was a pub. Okay, we did it many times, lah, right? And we're all looking at each other wondering, hey, we want to start a business, lah. But what, and we had no idea about what business to start, right? I mean, we really just, we went round and round, and we had another one beer and another. And the only ideas we came up with was restaurant, cafe, it's like the obvious ones, right? And on hindsight, there's a reason for that. It's because we wanted to start that business purely because we wanted to start that business for our own purposes. And that purpose is we wanted to be our own boss and we wanted to make money, right? So because the focus is on ourselves and our need to start a business, to be our own boss and to make money, we had no good ideas because, well, if the purpose to make money, then any idea will do. But the ideas are not exciting. And all that started changing, right? When we had this shift, when I had this shift, right, of not thinking about business as something I do for myself, but starting a business because I wanted to do something for someone else. I wanted to serve someone else. I wanted to help someone else. And when that mindset shifted from helping myself to helping another person,
Mm,
suddenly opportunities just open up out of
mm,
nowhere. Suddenly, there are so many problems we could solve, right?
mm,
Suddenly, we notice the world is so broken, and entrepreneurship is a way to actually fix it, right?
mm,
A person could have a problem with, for example, finding taxis, and really, that's where the idea for Uber, Grab, you have
mm,
very poor taxi services. They're all very rude, and suddenly you have these people say, "Okay, right, let's serve these people. Let's fix this problem," and that's how these ideas came about. So if we stop thinking about ourselves and stop thinking
mm,
about what we want, and start thinking about what other people want,
mm,
you have a business because your money comes from serving those people, solving their problems, and making their lives better. And so,
mm,
even if we talk about just a purely selfish thing, right? About, hey, I want to start a business, I want to make money, I want to be my own boss. But thinking about that alone is not going to give you the business ideas that will be successful for you.
mm,
Uh, you have to think about other people, think about what they want, think about serving them, think about making their lives better, and then that becomes a very viable business for you.
mm. All right. I'm just going to stop, just pause you for a bit because I have Louise, Gerald, and Lydian. They are all entrepreneurs of their own.
Hmm.
So if you're still online, tell us why you started your business, and then perhaps that would add value to what Edmund is saying, right? Because what you are saying is that instead of being saying what you want, why you chose to start the business, and all of us start a business because we want something out of it. But you're saying let's put the focus on what your customer needs, what problem in the world that you're trying to solve, and that would actually change the world. So yesterday we did a live session and we were talking about purpose. So basically get your purpose right, right? Start with a purpose
Right.
and everything else will fall in place. But we do
That's right.
know that's what you were saying, right? And I'm sure, and I know these people, and I know they're very purpose driven. So, Louise, Gerald, Lillian, if you can share with us, what is the purpose that you started your business? Because I know when I started Hearts and Minds, for me, the struggle was emotions was not getting the attention and respect it should. So people were abnormalizing emotion, right? Yeah. So for me, it was my problem, right? Like people were thinking I'm abnormal. So maybe I went out to start and tell the world that I'm actually normal. Of course, Terry is one of them. And that's kept me for 22 years, right? Because we're
Wow.
still trying to normalize what is normal. What does it mean to
Right.
be a normal
Right.
human being? Which is why when we when I got the name for my company, it's Hearts and Minds and not Minds and
Yeah.
Hearts, right? And so because I want the heart to come first, because there was a lot of work around the mind already. Not that mind wasn't important, but there wasn't enough work around the heart. Of course today it's a bit different. 22 years now we know mental health is important and stuff like that. And of course today we look at helping people bring their best versions to life. So that's what we do in anything that we do, right? So and we all have this burning desire, burning reason to want to make a difference. I really haven't met anyone who wakes up in the morning and say, I just don't want to make a difference,
Mm.
right? We don't. But it's the path that we choose, right? Lilian says she cannot punch card from 9 to 5. This is stressful. So she started the business because she doesn't want to punch card.
I,
So she's
I
talking
relate to that.
freedom. But Lilian, it'd be very nice to for you to say what difference you think you make in the business that you do. Lilian is my insurance agent. Haven't met
Ah,
someone better than her. She's amazing. So I've given her all my contacts because she serves me and my friends
oh
really, really.
wow,
And
nice,
so
very
she doesn't
nice,
shout out her purpose, but she lives her purpose, right? So
very nice.
that was 1 minute advertisement for you, Lilian. I will give you my account number for you to bank in the referral fee. Now,
That's
so tell me, right? You said two things. So when I look at your own business journey, and I know you personally, and I think it's quite safe for me to say you are ideal. Now, I thought,
idealistic.
yeah, no, yeah,
I'm far from
I
ideal.
I thought I'm idealistic until I meet people like you. Then I think I'm normal, right? Because you are crazily idealistic and you've never changed a bit. So all your
Uh,
businesses were seem to me that the foundation for the business is because of an ideal that you were holding on to.
it's I found okay. Here's the thing: it's also not purely altruistic, right? And the reason why I do this is because I found out many years ago that if I were to spend my days looking into the mirror, right, it's honestly it gets a bit depressing, right? I mean, there's just so much we don't like about ourselves, you know. If we focus on ourselves, our problems, our issues, our own lives, it's just it's depressing lah. So, but what I realize is that when I focus my time thinking about other people, right, serving other people, helping other people, it actually makes me happy. Like for example, I'm happy to be here, right? And the reason why I'm happy to be here is not because I'm talking about myself, it's because I'm trying to help people to start a business and change the world. And I feel happy about that. So yeah, so it's not a purely altruistic thing. I get a lot of joy. I get a lot of joy uh, by actually spending time not looking to the mirror and actually looking at other people and helping them.
Nice. So
Yeah.
that's your motivation. But I'm going to tell you that
Mm.
I disagree with you because when I look into the mirror, I really, really like myself.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's fantastic.
I
I
really
want
like.
you're my hero. I want to be more like you.
So one of those things that I've learned over the years is, and this is really true for me. When I wake up in the morning and I look into the mirror, I ask myself whether I am my most favorite person. Now, most days I am, some days I'm not. And the days I'm not my most favorite person, I know I've got work to do. And today I will say, if I look at myself and I'm not my favorite person, I don't see it as work. I know that I am bruised or broken and I need to heal to become my
Mm.
most favorite person again. Is
Wow.
how I see it, right?
Wow. Wow.
So it is
Wow.
it is really for me. And the days that I fall short, where I mess up, and I do mess up quite regularly. The days I mess up, when I look into the mirror, I actually don't like the person I meet in the mirror.
Hmm.
So,
Mm.
and it's very physical for me. So, just on that basis, I will disagree with you. Now, what I'm curious about is so your ideals seem to be short lived,
Hmm. Meaning?
meaning you start a business and then you start another business and then you start another business. Correct?
Yeah.
Right? So you start something, you work on it, fine, you learn something, and when you know you've given it its best chance, right? You seem to be moving forward, all right? But you've made the difference in those space. I know you've made the difference to the school. Education is a big thing that I would always feel proud to be associated with you because you've left the nation with something so important, Edmund, just so
Oh, thank you.
important.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So for me, that's huge for me personally, right? And and so these are the two big things that's like really close to my heart. But you did something, you grew it, and then you said, okay, for whatever reason, it's the end, right? Now, I think that's fine because you start something. But a lot of people who get into businesses, we think that we need to do this thing for life.
Mm.
So
So,
tell us, so so tell us this, right? When you
hmm.
start this business, you start with a sense of purpose, which is fantastic. You give it the best shot, and then you realize it's time to let go, leave it be, either pass it on, let it go, or move on, right? So I would like to hear your perspective. At what point do you recognize or realize
Oh,
I'm done with my work, I'm moving
I think so. Okay, so I think he is like this, right? So let's say we have a picture frame to hang, and that's the goal. The goal is to have a beautiful picture to look at every day, right? And you want to hang on the wall. You've bought the picture, you bought the frame, you've taken your hammer, whack, 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 and the hammerhead breaks, right? It flies off. It barely misses your kids. And so you right then you have a choice, right? What do you do, right? Do you
on.
fix the hammer, or do you get a new hammer or a new tool, right?
Mm,
So I think that's the thing. All these businesses that we have, they're not goals of its own. They're not the end goal. All these are just tools we use for a purpose. So all these businesses they're all just tools, right?
mm,
And so like that broken hammer, there's two choices to make. One, do we repair it? Do we fix it? Or, is it like still too dangerous if we fix it? It'll still fly off, it'll still injure someone. And so maybe it's time to go out and get a new tool, right?
right.
So I think that's the analogy I would have for moving on. Because if we know, or if we suspect that we know what sort of difference we want to make in the world, then from that knowledge, everything that we do, all the businesses and all the actions we take, they're all just tools to get closer to that. So if the tool's broken, honestly, it's not too hard to move on. It's difficult to move on when people feel that their business is the goal. Like, oh, I failed my business. Oh, I didn't do so well in my business, and they get all sad about it. But that's only because they're treating that as the goal rather than the tool.
Nice.
So yeah.
So, what I'm hearing from you is that the business is not the outcome. The
No.
outcome is your purpose.
Mm,
And your
yeah.
business, whatever business that you do, is contributing to that purpose. And
Yes.
when you think you're done with this for whatever reason, all
Yeah.
right, you
Yeah.
move on because the next thing that you choose to do is actually adding to the purpose that you
Yeah.
believe in, which is, to make a difference
Correct.
and change the world, is what I'm
Correct.
hearing, right?
Eh,
So don't be so attached to the activity, but
Yeah.
be, committed to the outcome or the purpose of why you wanted to do this activity in the first place.
Yeah. That's right. Perfect.
Nice.
Perfect.
Okay, so I got that. Now, tell us, you did say that, when it came to small potatoes, right? You said 80% of the businesses are non-existent, right? So first, maybe, what you can tell us is when you look at aspiring entrepreneurs, right? They want to
I
start a
I
business.
pity all of them. I pity every single one of them.
Now, a lot of people will come and tell you, a lot of people come and tell me they want to start a business, usually, a training business, right? And so for me, that's what they come to me for, right? If they're talking to me, I think, Mother, I want to run a training business. But very few actually transition from the corporate world to want to do this, even though their heart could be here, right? So, in your experience, when people come to you for business coaching or they're having that conversation, what is the greatest fear for people to take action for their dreams, to want to change the world by starting a business?
Interestingly, I don't meet many of those. I think because we all attract a different kind of person in our
Right.
lives, right?
Mm,
So people who ask me how to start a business, they're already like thinking about it for many years. They already want to do it. Um, Although I have met people who are very, very, very fearful of,
mm,
and I think I have two very personal stories to share about this. I met this I met this guy who in University Hospital. I think now it's called PPUM, Pusat
Mm,
Perubatan University Malaya. Many years ago, about a decade ago, right? And he was dying of cancer. Yeah, I mean, it literally was, and he knew he had a week to live.
mm,
But the guy was still walking around, but he knew he had a week to live. That's what doctors told him. And really, about a week later, he died. And so he was actually my friend's father. And I went there to see my friend, and just offer her support. And then I met her dad. And at some point in time, I was alone with him in the courtyard, right? And that was a very uncomfortable conversation, right? What the heck do you say to someone who knows he has 1 week to live, right? I mean, there's how the heck do I make him feel better? Which is the instinct that we have when we meet someone who's in trouble, right? I mean, there's nothing I could do. So, I had this conversation with him, and one of the questions and one of the things he said to me was, "I'm not ready to die." And I'm like, in my head, I was like, what the hell do I say to that? I
mm,
so he tells me I'm not ready to die. I think he was in his 50s, late 50s. I'm not ready to die. There's so much things I haven't done yet, you know. And so I asked him, hey, do you have any advice for us? And back then I was significantly younger. And he said, live life, go do what you want to do. Don't live life. Don't be scared.
mm,
And a week later he passed. And that stuck with me, because very often we live life out of fear. We do things because we're afraid that bad things will happen. But bad things are going to happen if you don't do it anyway. It turns out, so
mm,
you might as well just do it. And the other story I have is, so my dad he had one job his entire life, right? He was a teacher in the public school. He was also a tuition teacher, and he's been doing the same thing for like forever, right?
mm,
And he's lived life out of fear of bad things happening. And how do I know this? It's because decades ago he had the opportunity to start a tuition center with a friend, right? So he's offered that opportunity, just come in as a partner, let's do this together. But he was very afraid, and he didn't do it because and one of the biggest reasons why, funnily enough, he said, "I don't want to pay aircon bills." I'm like, what? So he didn't want to pay air conditioning bills, and so he didn't want the additional bills that came with actually starting a business. And
mm,
he had this, and he kept peppering me. And growing up, he kept peppering me with stories of business people who failed, who lost all their money. And much later in life, I realized, hey, that's all bullshit, lah. Because if look, if you start as Niran Berhad, right, and your business lose money, you know what? You're not liable for that. You don't have to actually pay all that back. It's you're protected as a business. Your individual bank accounts are protected because you have an actual business. Um, but anyway, he was really afraid of losing everything he had. And one of the direct consequence of that was that my parents argued about money I think every day. If I say every day, it sounds like a I'm overstating it, but it almost does feel like that, no? And so they had a really horrible marriage. Right? They argued basically all the time, every day, and violent arguments. I mean, we're talking about full on shouting and all. I mean, I pity my own neighbors, lah. I'm very embarrassed to see my neighbors, no, because like, all this shouting coming out of the house. And my mom got depression. And for the longest time, she's had depression. And I mean, that was just really crazy, lah. And that was a direct consequence of, I suspect, it's a direct consequence of living a life of fear, of being scared to take action simply because you're afraid of something, instead of taking action because of a hope for the future, or positivity, or we want to make a difference. Instead of taking action because of that, my dad
mm.
took action because he was scared and afraid. And that lesson actually it stayed with me basically stayed with me for my entire life, lah. And I've always thought, you know, that really I shouldn't make decisions based on fear.
Mm. And what do you make your decisions based on?
Hope, um, ideals, you know. I remind myself that every time I feel scared, I'm like, what am I scared about? Okay, um, this fear is probably not real. And sometimes the fear of money as well, right? If I do this, then where am I good? It's a brand new thing. I'm gonna suck at it. Where's money gonna come from? And so all those thoughts come in my mind.
Mm.
Um, but I look back at my past and my upbringing, and I remind myself, hey, look, um, money is actually never the issue because I have skills that I'll be able to sell at any time I wanted to. And this fear is not real. It's just an overabundance of caution. It's this voice in my head that's trying to protect me from being eaten by lions, but the lions don't exist anymore in our lives.
Nice.
Mm.
False evidence appearing real is another
Yeah,
abbreviation of fear that I've heard.
yeah.
So, Edmund, I want to thank you for the story of your parents, but what I'm getting out of it, I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing it as is publicly. So, thank you
Hmm.
very much because I think
Oh,
a lot of
sure,
us
sure.
can relate to parents or adults who don't know how to deal with money that has
Yeah.
caused problems and
Oh,
very
yeah.
loud problems, right? But
Oh, yeah.
I think that the thing about you is, and I would say the same thing, right? I do all the things that I didn't see my parents doing. But I would never blame my mom who
No,
was
no.
the main
Yeah,
one because she didn't know how to think.
yeah. That's right.
Because she was
I
you know,
mean,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
trying their best.
She
It's
didn't
it's
know
just
that.
that their best was well, like that, lah.
Yeah. So, but we learn, right? So, what I'm
Yeah,
learning from you is that you saw what your parents did. But what was good about you is that you probably acquired the knowledge and skills to confirm whether what you saw was valid. And you use
yeah.
these skills to overcome your false fear
Mm.
and know that with skills you can counter that because you're also looking at the fears that the beliefs that people have actually planted within
Yeah,
you, so you
yeah.
took the trouble to counter it, to counter the noise and to listen to your voice, right? Which is great. So if because we only have like about less than 10 minutes, so I'm going to ask you, so people who are struggling with their fear, because the fear of uncertainty, insecurity of income is real in first building a business, starting a business and building a business, right? And now you not only we have to do that, you say we must change the word purpose driven, which is the most important one, right? So if people who are listening and they're thinking, yeah, I want to build a business, I've been wanting to make this change and I'm fearful, uh, what advice would you give to them? What skills should they acquire? What knowledge and skills should they acquire?
I think somebody's trying to tunnel into your office right now, mother.
I'm muting myself so that people can hear you.
They're like, let me in this conversation. um, okay. So coming back to that, look, and of course, we're this is a message for the wrong audience because all these audience who are entrepreneurs, you guys already know this. Um, and that's probably why you're here. But look, I mean, we're all gonna die. I mean, I know that sounds morbid and everything. We are all going to freaking. I mean, like that man I met in the hospital. 1 week to live. We're all gonna freaking die. And you know what? All of us, we have skills. And really, and I think all of us here in this room, we have skills we can sell at any time. So really, money is honestly never really the issue, right?
Mm.
So really, we should focus on the fact that our lives are short, and if we're going to do something that we want to do, I think we should just do it. Oh,
Sorry, I was rude because I've put this on. I Can you hear the drilling, Edmund? No.
you've been drilling me this last hour, mother. So I'm already used to it by now.
I'm talking about the physical drilling. Can you hear it? No.
It's I hear it, but it's fine.
Okay, no, because
Yeah,
I'm thinking for the audience. So, fantastic.
it's
So,
better
listen, I
now.
know that you have your knowledge and skills to actually manage
Yes,
this, is what you're saying, right?
yes, yes.
Last question, right? What can we do to minimize failure if we want to start a business?
Don't. Yeah. I think the fear of failure, the idea that you can minimize failure, really is not real. You are going to fail, and thing is, so books only take us so far. Mentoring only takes us so far. I mean, I've mentored a lot of people, and and a very common theme happens, right? You tell them, watch out for this. This is gonna happen. Uh, uh, and they don't listen. And it's not because they don't want to listen. It's because they don't have the experience to be able to appreciate such an advice. They have to go through it themselves. They have to go through the troubles, the challenges, the issues, the problems before they can change their mind to accept the kind of knowledge they are giving them. And so this change in mindset uh, really is a product of actually experiencing failure. So if we're trying to avoid failure, right, that's a big problem because we'll also avoid taking opportunities because we're avoiding failure. So no, never avoid failure. Understand that we're going to fail, and the more we fail, the more we learn, the more we experience, the wiser we get. My mentor once told me, you know, wisdom is expensive. And again, he told me this long time ago. I had no idea what he was talking about. What rubbish is this guy saying? Why is it expensive? Just read some books. But this is what it is. Wisdom is expensive because you have to fail to learn the lessons we need to learn in order to do better in the future.
Okay, I muted so that you don't hear the drilling. So nice. So you see failure as a part of learning, is what I'm
Oh
hearing.
yes, yeah. Totally. It's an absolutely crucial part of learning. I mean, you're not purposely trying to fail, but if you're trying to avoid failure, you will fail anyway.
Before I kill the guy who's drilling, last question. Hopefully, you can hear me. If we all started a business to change the world, how do you think the world we live around would be?
One of the people I like to hang out with, I most like to hang out with are actually entrepreneurs, and so people like in this room, lah, right? I love hanging out with you guys, and the reason why I love hanging out with you guys is because you guys don't see the world with the lens of there's a problem. You guys see the world with the lens of, okay, here's a problem. What can I do about it? And so, what's the opportunity behind it? And so, yeah, no, fantastic, Nine. um, uh, you see the world in the lens of opportunities. Okay, sorry, I was getting somewhere with this. I got distracted. What's the question again, Muller?
How would the world be if all of
Okay.
us decided to start a business to
It,
make the change that we want?
so if everybody had the mindset of an entrepreneur, right? Of look, what can we do to solve this problem? Well, I tell you, there is so much more happiness in the world because people are taking action to make things better. They'll feel more fulfilled. They're happier. And not only are they personally happier because they're actually trying to solve problems, the world becomes better because of it. Um, yeah, so the more people have and it's not about being an entrepreneur; it's about having the entrepreneurial spirit. If more people have the entrepreneurial spirit, wow, I think the world becomes a better place. I mean, of course, we're not talking about Jeff Bezos kind of entrepreneurial spirit where you know you uh, you pay people as little as possible to earn as much money as possible. Not that kind of entrepreneur. I'm talking about the problem solvers, people who will go out there and really make a difference.
Yeah. So I know I said last question, but I have another question because you've said not it is not about becoming an entrepreneur, but having the entrepreneurial
Mm.
mindset, right?
Yeah,
So can
yeah.
you tell us when you say entrepreneurial mindset, what do you mean? Is it about bringing your life, your skills, your knowledge and skills to change the world, to make a difference? Is that what you're saying?
I think the entrepreneurial mindset is number one, having the seeing a problem and wanting to solve it, right? So that is primarily, if you ask me, the entrepreneurial spirit. Of course, there's a lot of other things that go around with that. How do you actually solve it? The skill to be able to talk to the right people, to get mentors, to learn the right skills, to try the new skills you've learned, get feedback about it, and to continue improving. So this, I mean, all that is all part of the entrepreneurial journey and the entrepreneurial skills that people learn.
Now, so if people who are listening in and they want to be in touch with you and they have a business idea that they want to make a difference, right? Want to change the world, I'm sure they can contact you, right?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Contact me.
Okay,
Uh,
so tell us in your business coaching. I know before we end, I promise you this is the last one because the drilling is getting louder. In your business coaching, what are some things that you help your people with so that those who are listening will look at, hey, these are some things that I think I haven't done, which is why my business may not have got its best opportunity and chance that it deserves. What are some things that you do to
wow.
help people?
Um, the so okay, so for different businesses it's different things, but one of the things that we had to get very good at very early is how do we actually build cash flow for businesses, so early cash flow. And you'll be surprised lah, at how simple some of these solutions are. It's so obvious, but yet if you're running a business, you're right in the thick of it, it's so hard to see. For example, I had a client who had 100,000 email lists because there were 100,000 people who actually downloaded their app, their fitness app, but they never email their audience ever. And so the minute they emailed them, I told them, that's what you should do. That's the first thing you should do. Let's not even talk about Facebook ads, Google ads, or spending money on all this. Just email these people. Boom, their business improved by 25%, like literally that week. Right. So some things are just really very obvious lah when it comes to improving cash flow. Um, and so we had to get very good at it as an agency, and that's what we focus on.
Thanks. So get the cash flow right, and you will actually sort of rest in peace in building your business because that's the one that
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
takes your mind off your purpose because you need to pay bills, is what you're saying.
I think prime also it buys time because when you have more cash flow, you're able to get more help. And one of the biggest reasons why a lot of businesses cannot improve is because they're really too busy. They're too busy to improve. They're too busy surviving to improve and to grow. And so when you get out of that cycle of survival, right, and you start generating more cash flow, you get people to come and help you. You buy yourself more time. The business will actually grow. Yeah.
You're basically telling give the business enough time to do the, to go through the growth process, and during this growth process you need cash, which is why your cash flow
Yes.
management, or making sure there's enough cash flow in the beginning of the business immediately can sustain you through this before you actually harvest,
That's right. That's right.
because a lot of
Perfect.
us
Yeah.
give up
Yeah.
during the space, right? Because we don't
Yeah.
do the right thing first. We
Yeah.
think, I will wait in the beginning and lose on the cash flow that I probably bring in, the capital that I bring in, that during this period where actually need to wait for my harvest, I give up on my business, is what I'm hearing.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right.
Mhm.
So for those who are listening to Edmond, if you have any question, you can find him both on LinkedIn and
Like,
Facebook, and you
yep,
can just
yep.
connect with him directly for
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Um,
Fantastic.
yeah, quite a nice guy. Doesn't know how to really say no. He
Quite,
will talk to quite a
quite.
nice guy, even though he thinks he's annoying. So, Edmond, thank you very much for joining us and helping us to think through, feel through, and act through, start a business and change the world. I want
Thank
to
you.
thank you for making Malaysia a better place, definitely
Oh,
with
thank you, thank you.
education.
I look forward to continue annoying people in this room.
Yay, that's good. And so I want to thank you for doing that. And I really want to, I'm very grateful that you continue being idealistic because I think
There's a fine line between that and stupidity. So you know, I'm not sure which part of the line I bounce at on.
the fact that you're doing this show means not stupid yet, because
So
otherwise, if you were stupid, you wouldn't be on this show, right? Okay, so Prasan. So thank you very much for being you.
thank you. Thank you for having me, Malar.
Thank you for
It's
your
nice meeting
authenticity
everyone.
and your stories. So people, please
Awesome.
connect with Edmond. So is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to people?
No, I mean, that's it really. I think, I mean, if everybody's here as an entrepreneur, wow, I'm cheering you from afar. Go make that difference. To not just people around you, your family and everything. Now, wish you all the best. Best of luck, and if you can, mentor another entrepreneur, and you'll be making that difference as well.
Nice. Thank you, Edmund. Wishing you all the best
Thank
with
you.
your daughter who rolls her eyes.
Thank you.
And I'm sure at some point we will talk to you again. Thank you, Edmund.
Awesome. See you,
All
Mother. See
right.
you guys.
Hi. As we say bye to Edmund, oh, the drilling has gone off. So, for those who've joined us, thank you for joining us. And if you are checking this out to see whether you want to watch this video, tell your friends about it. Subscribe to our YouTube as well as our Spotify to get updated and listen to all our speakers. But today we had listened to Edmund, and for those who have the spirit of an entrepreneur and you're still idealistic, wanting to make a change and make a difference in this world, I hope this episode has given you some light and some hope and has taken you off the fear. So, with that, this is Malar signing off for this week. Until I see you next week with a new episode and a very exciting speaker, someone really different from what we've heard so far. So, with that, stay safe, people, because positive is seem to be, spreading. So stay safe, stay well. Till we meet you next week. Bye.